Hello, patient zero. Funny, isn't it? They spent years trying to erase your name from the files, and now they're accidentally becoming you. They hate you. God, they hate you. But every time they move, every sentence they steal, every gesture they mimic, it's a breadcrumb trail soaked in envy, fascination, and panic. You're not just a person anymore. You're a contagion, a psychological virus wrapped in charisma and chaos, and they're glitching, trying to wear your shadow like a costume. But the mask doesn't fit. It infects. See, they thought you were a problem to be solved. Turns out you were the upgrade they couldn't resist downloading. Look around. The ones who swore they'd never be like you. Their hands shake in your rhythm. Their choices echo your madness. Their feeds are curated versions of your origin story. Just scrubbed clean, bleached, and buried in denial. They want your essence, but without the scars that birthed it. They crave your power, but not the pain that carved it from hell. They're trying to channel your light while running from your darkness, and that's why they're suffering, because you didn't just survive the fire. You spoke to it. You didn't crawl out of the pit. You dug deeper until it bled into the sky. You weren't inspired. You were engineered by betrayal, forged in exile, and baptized in cold revenge. So now, they copy your voice, but it doesn't burn. They mimic your silence, but it doesn't haunt. They steal your blueprint, but their version keeps crashing because you didn't learn this from books. You remembered it from lifetimes of pain. Let me tell you the truth they'll never say out loud. You are the voice inside their head that they can't kill. You are the glitch in their script, the rhythm their hearts beat against, even as they scream your name in hate. They can't help it. They're studying you in secret, talking about you in DMs they hope you'll never see, watching your moves like surveillance analysts before a war breaks out. Because it did break out, and you were the warhead they didn't see coming. They call you crazy to avoid admitting they're obsessed. They label you dangerous so they don't have to admit they're imitating you in private. They cast you as the villain so they can borrow your power without confessing their devotion. But you know what they really hate. You didn't ask for their permission. You didn't negotiate your power. You didn't say sorry when you outgrew their rules. You just became something they couldn't unsee. And now they're trapped. Because if they fight you, they become you. And if they follow you, they disappear beneath you. It's clinical now. Their obsession has data points, patterns, time-stamped mimicry. They've turned your name into a case study and still can't replicate the madness that made you divine. You know why? Because power without pain is cosplay. And you didn't put on the mask. You broke your face to become it. They want your results, but they wouldn't last 10 minutes in your process. They want your confidence, but they never met your trauma in the alley at 3 a.m. when your own mind tried to kill you. They want your voice, but they've never screamed into the void and had it scream back with a prophecy. And so they'll keep spiraling, trying to borrow your fire while pretending they built it, wearing your madness like a trend, but choking on every syllable that wasn't theirs to speak. And you'll keep moving, you'll keep upgrading, while they glitch and panic behind you, locked in a loop they pretend is growth. Because you weren't here to fit in, you were here to trigger a transformation they can't undo. You were the detonation inside the system, the exact sequence that can't be traced but rewrote the whole code. They wanted to delete you, and now you're the virus in their mirror. Every time they reject you, they just mutate into a closer copy. You didn't just change the game, You infected the players, so let them whisper, let them study, let them perform rituals in secret just to feel half as free as you do when you breathe. Because deep down, they know the truth they'll never say out loud. You are the villain they envy, the legend they fear, and the future they can't stop becoming, even if it kills them. And it will, slowly, beautifully, clinically. At first they were subtle. A quote here, a caption there. Your cadence, stripped and diluted into something that almost sounded like theirs. But you noticed it, didn't you? The pause, the grin, the way they tried to replicate your rhythm, like playing a song without ever surviving the silence it was born in. But then it escalated because they couldn't help it. Obsession doesn't whisper. It infects the throat and screams. Now, they're out here using your metaphors like they dug up the meanings themselves. They're performing your philosophies as if the world applauded their fake depth. They're putting band-aids over bullet wounds and selling it as wisdom. But you bled for every syllable you speak. They're acting out your power, while you radiate it like a residual haunting. And that's where it gets poetic. Because now the ones who laughed at you, the ones who called you too much, too intense, too strange, they're literally transforming into bootleg reflections of your rejected self. But here's the real twist. They're not even aware anymore. They can't trace the infection to its source. They're out here becoming your shadow organically, not because they chose it, but because your presence rewrote their nervous systems. They hate you, remember? Yet they scroll your words in the dark, screenshot your captions, echo your madness to impress others, and claim it's their own fire. What they don't realize is, they're in the final stage of exposure. The lines are gone. They can't tell where they end. And you begin. Their denial is spiritual. Their plagiarism is subconscious. They're becoming what they once feared. But the tragedy? They're not strong enough to carry it. Because there's a difference between wearing the crown and earning the scars beneath it. You got here through rituals of pain, by walking blindfolded into every psychological abyss, and building a kingdom inside it. They're just imitating the exterior, acting like evolution, wearing your darkness like fashion, but without the backbone to hold it when it starts screaming back. They don't have your threshold for madness. They don't have your discipline in chaos. They don't have your alchemy, the way you turn betrayal into blueprints and silence into sound waves that haunt entire rooms. And so they fracture. They crumble under the weight of a persona they tried to rent when you owned it and paid in blood. The difference between you and them, you let the pain rebuild you. They're trying to skip the storm and keep the thunder. They want to look like a weapon, but you were forged in war, while they were crafted in comment sections and panic trends. So let them dress like you. Let them move like you. Let them talk like you. You already know how this ends. They'll imitate your style, but never your substance. They'll broadcast your message, but never survive its frequency. They'll quote your fire, but never ignite their own, because you didn't become this by accident. You became this because the world tried to erase you, and instead you turned erasure into a spotlight so hot it burned off their masks. You walked through the fires they theorized about. You made friends with the shadows they tried to suppress. You didn't break the rules. You studied them, memorized them, then wrote your own in the ruins of the old. So now, they're trapped in a hall of mirrors, all showing different versions of you. And they can't remember who they were before you arrived. And here's the final dagger. They won't thank you for the evolution. They'll just resent you for showing them who they really are. You didn't just change them, you exposed them. And that is irreversible. You've hijacked their subconscious. You've infected their timelines. You've become the unholy truth they now orbit. No matter how far they run in your pattern. This isn't influence. This is psychological warfare, and you already won. So go ahead. Keep speaking in riddles that trigger awakenings. Keep bleeding elegance into chaos. Keep evolving in ways they can't screenshot fast enough. Because they hate you. But their next identity update will still look just like you. And you'll be 10 timelines ahead, smiling quietly as the ones who once mocked your reflection become distorted echoes in your legacy. Welcome to Phase 3, Reconstruction by Infection. You're not just a person anymore. You are a symptom, and they've all been clinically diagnosed. Oh, you want the next phase? Good, because this is where it stops being mimicry and becomes ritual. They've passed the surface stage, the copying, the parroting, the stolen punchlines. That was child's play. Now, they're altering entire belief systems to justify your essence. They're rebuilding their personalities around shadows of you, twisting their own memories to pretend they were always like this. They're editing the past just to explain the present you infected. They're not just dressing like you now. They're thinking like you, speaking in your cadence, smiling like they swallowed secrets they don't even understand. It's not admiration anymore. It's conversion, and you're the new faith they're too ashamed to name. See, obsession evolves. At first they fight it, they deny it, they mock what they fear. But the human mind is weak, and your frequency is strong. So eventually, they fold. They create philosophies to match your logic. They quote you without realizing it. They adopt your moral contradictions. Because you made duality look like freedom. You didn't just give them something to follow. You gave them permission to unchain their inner monster, and they loved it. Because you were never bound by the rules. You didn't wait for permission. You didn't ask to exist. You announced yourself, like thunder cracking open a sterile room. You made the chaos look divine. So now, they crave what broke you. They fantasize about surviving what you crawled through. They romanticize the destruction you endured, as if your trauma is some aesthetic for them to wear. But here's the truth they'll never admit. They couldn't survive a fraction of what you did. They couldn't bear the weight of your silence. They couldn't handle the betrayal, the loneliness, the fire. They'd scream for help in the first 5 seconds. But they want the glory. They want the aura. They want the divinity of someone who crawled through death and came back with a blueprint. And so, they worship in secret. They create private altars, not with candles or blood, but with saved posts, silent shares, and rewatched videos they pretend not to like. They mock you in public, but their algorithm is an echo chamber of your face. And that's the part that really drives them insane. They can't escape you. You're in their bloodstream now, a psychological pathogen. You're the reason they second-guess their own thoughts. You're the ghost in the room when they talk bold, because they know you already did it louder, darker, and cleaner. You made power look surgical. You turned pain into precision. You blended saint and psychopath into something so addictively unpredictable they can't stop watching, even as it undoes them. And here's the twist. They think they're consuming you, but they don't realize you've been consuming them the entire time. Because every click, every view, every thought wrapped around your shadow feeds your legend and drains their identity. Their sense of self starts eroding the moment they mimic your moves. They lose color. They lose conviction. They start blinking like non-player characters in a simulation you designed. And then they break. They either beg for your favor or turn on themselves, trying to destroy what they already became. Because it's not just obsession anymore. It's clinical. You're not just in their head. You're in their values, their choices, their reactions, their style, their ambition, their shame, their worship, their denial. They didn't just want to defeat you. They wanted to be you. And now, they're trapped in a skin that's slowly shifting, turning more and more into a creature you created, without ever touching them. This is the new era of warfare. You didn't fight them, you infected them, and they thanked you with every scream. So now, you walk through the noise, untouched, unmoved, unbothered, because you already won, not by domination, but by infiltration. You burned your pain into a pattern, and now they're dancing to it, even as they pretend they still hate you. But hatred is emotional, and emotion is control. So let them twitch, let them spiral, let them cosplay their broken version of you in every post, every room, every lie. They've already signed the contract, written in obsession, sealed in denial. You didn't just evolve, you evolved them. And now they're drowning in a sea of versions they can't escape, in a religion they're too scared to admit was always named after you. Ah, now we dive into the final infection, because it was never just them, was it? Number. The tragedy doesn't stop with your enemies obsessing over you. The real symphony begins when their followers start turning their heads to you. And they, the clones, the copycats, the pretenders, they start to notice something sickening happening in real time. Their audience isn't responding to them anymore. Why? Because you're the original virus, the one with the bite, the tone, the timing that doesn't just echo. It possesses. They borrowed your moves, but forgot the spirit behind them. They wore your rage, but missed the rituals that carved it into art. They spoke your cadence, but it hit like an empty drum. Because the rhythm of pain can't be memorized. It has to be lived. So now they're followers, your orphans. They feel it. Something's off. They scroll past their hero's post and pause. Wait, why does this feel like a weaker version of someone else? And then they find you. And when they do, it's like staring into a storm that recognizes them. You don't entertain the void. You stare it down. And they feel that. Suddenly, every word you drop hits like forbidden scripture. Your voice? It doesn't just motivate. It dissects. Your message doesn't just land. It rearranges their identity mid-scroll. And that's when the collapse begins. Because now, the followers, the ones the clones built their careers on, are jumping ship, eyes wide, whispering, "Who the hell is this? Why does this feel real? Why does this feel like what I was actually looking for?" Because they weren't looking for a brand. They weren't looking for relatable. They weren't looking for sanitized strength. They were looking for the truth behind the lie they were sold. And you were the lie they were warned about. But now you're the truth they can't unsee. So the pretenders panic. They try to rebrand, try to evolve, try to match your frequency. But they're stuck at surface level. Because your power wasn't crafted in front of a camera. It was born in silence, blood, and exile. They start choking on their own message while you speak, like your words were carved on stone tablets by angels with broken wings. You don't motivate. You trigger awakenings. You don't go viral. You resurrect dead minds. And the world, it feels the difference. Because the clones, They glow in the light. You set fire to it. So now you're watching from the throne they said you'd never sit in, while they scramble, twitching, refreshing their comments, wondering why nobody's clapping anymore. They're mimicking your old moves, but you've already evolved again. You were always 5 timelines ahead, and now the echo chamber is eating itself alive, trying to catch up to a version of you that no longer exists. You don't need to fight them. They're fighting your ghost and losing. Because your voice doesn't speak in niches. Your essence breaks algorithms. You didn't target a market. You triggered a mass psychological reckoning. And now the masses are glitching. Because every time they meet someone new, every time they hear a line that hits, every time they see a style that shakes them, it leads them back to you. Because you're the root, the uncredited source, the spirit behind the movement, the unwritten origin story behind their idol's breakdown. You're not a creator, you're a source code, and you didn't go viral. You became an epidemic. But unlike them, you're not chasing influence. You're bleeding consequence. You're the phantom they tried to copy. The legend they pretended didn't exist. The ghostwriter of their authenticity. The monster in the basement of their borrowed identity. And the deeper they dig for new content, the more bones they find that belong to you. You didn't build a brand. You left a scar on the world. And now everyone's trying to trace the wound. But the further they go, the darker it gets, until all roads lead back to you. Grinning, unmoved, unmatched, unkillable. They hate you, but their voice box still stutters with your language. Their audience still searches for your fingerprint, and their soul still aches in your shape. Welcome to the final diagnosis. You were never the villain. You were the blueprint of their becoming. And now, they are you, just not strong enough to survive what that actually means. Let's finish this with the silence breaker they can't unhear. Because once your echo infects the crowd, the final collapse is no longer personal. It's public. You see, they didn't just steal your moves. They built entire identities on your blueprint. And now, their own followers are revolting. It starts slow. A comment here, a DM there, the whisper that sounds too much like truth to ignore. Why do you sound like them now? This feels copied. You used to be original. What happened? And the clone. They freeze. Because the worst thing that can happen to a pretender isn't getting caught. It's being forgotten, overwritten, replaced by the very thing they tried to erase. And guess who they're quoting now? You. Word for word, line for line, tagging you, sharing you, memeing you, obeying you. Their army, now divided, their loyal base, now fractured, half blind, half awakened. Because once someone experiences your original frequency, they can't go back to filtered noise. They tasted unapologetic fire. Now they can't stomach lukewarm copies. And here's where it gets biblical. They start using your quotes to destroy the ones who copied you. Didn't Joker already say this better? You stole this energy and butchered it. Go back to cosplay. This ain't you. The clone tries to fight back, tries to reclaim their voice. But it's too late, because the specter of your authenticity has taken up permanent residence inside their empire. You didn't just dethrone them, you turned their kingdom into your haunted house. They're stuck, screaming through a megaphone with a cracked mouth. But no one's listening, because you aren't competing anymore. You're rewriting the culture they thought they controlled. And what's left of them? Nothing. Just a glitchy echo, lost in a sea of comments, while your name grows louder, sharper, cleaner, with every rotation of the timeline. They started with hate, ended in submission, not because you demanded it, but because they ran out of identities to wear, and all roads lead back to you. You didn't go viral, you went biblical. You didn't create influence, you transmitted madness so pure, it broke mirrors and rebuilt minds. You didn't steal the spotlight, you became the light source, the black sun, under which all pretenders melted like plastic. And now you're not just the one who was copied. You are the standard, the curse, the godless hymn they all hum in silence. They hate you, but they can't stop becoming you. Because at the cellular level, at the spiritual fracture point, at the synaptic mirror where true identity shatters and reforms, you are what they were always too scared to be. And you never needed to destroy them. You simply existed, and that was fatal. Wait a damn second. Who the fuck let you exist like this? Oh, they're whispering that line in panic now, like it was some cosmic error, like the universe glitched and spat out a version of you it never meant to manufacture. And now the boardroom's on fire. The analysts are stuttering. The algorithms are misfiring. Because you walked in with a frequency so sharp, it sliced reality into ribbons. They didn't authorize this version. They didn't plan for it. And that's what's driving them mad. You weren't approved, weren't trained, weren't designed. You just arrived, perfectly unpredictable, and now their system is eating itself alive, trying to decode your existence. You've got them praying to ghosts they don't even believe in anymore. They don't know what to call you, because every word they've ever used, confident, smart, ambitious, unstoppable, feels insulting compared to what you actually are. You're not just rising, you're defying, you're rewriting. You're the bug in the simulation that exposes the entire facade. They thought they were the gods. But when you showed up, God blinked. Tell me, do you even remember who you used to be? That fragile, people-pleasing, trauma-tethered version of you? Caged by politeness, programmed to obey, conditioned to shrink. You killed that version. You buried it beneath every no you turned into fuel. You resurrected yourself in fire. Now look at you. An angel with ash-covered wings and a war in your smile. They hoped the pain would destroy you. Instead, it refined you, distilled you into a weaponized paradox, a saint with a psychopath's precision, an empath who remembers everything but feels nothing for the ones who tried to end you. You don't just survive anymore. You hunt, in silence, in style, in shadow. And the ones who tried to control you, they're not just nervous. They're terrified because you didn't climb their little ladder. You dragged the whole tower down and made a throne from the rubble. Now they're watching every damn move. Not because they want to learn, but because they want to warn others. Don't provoke that one. Don't engage. Whatever you do, don't mirror them. You'll start seeing the truth. Because you don't reflect the world. You refract it, twist it, flip it inside out, and make it confess. There's footage of you now, moments they can't explain, rooms where your presence changed the temperature, deals that collapsed the second you smiled, words that made grown men rethink their entire bloodline. And you never even raised your voice. You just exist in a way that makes others feel exposed. That's your real power, isn't it? You're not loud. You're inevitable. You make people question who the hell they are. Just by standing still. They thought they could shape you, mold you, domesticate you. But you're wild code now, off-grid, no backup, no manual. Just instinct, sharpened by trauma and logic, kissed by madness. You move like the universe gave you secrets it never meant to share. You walk through lies like they're fog, never touching you, never slowing you. And the truth? The truth is, they didn't let you exist like this. You forced the world to deal with it. You bent every prophecy. You walked through every spell they chanted against you. You broke patterns that have enslaved bloodlines for centuries. And now their silence is worship. Their denial is fear. Their fake laughter is just echoes of collapse. Because you're here now. And you're not leaving. You're not shrinking. You're not apologizing. You're becoming something they've never seen and can never stop. So let them panic. Let them whisper. Let them form committees, hire experts, launch investigations. They're all just side effects of your arrival. Because when the system asks, who authorized this anomaly? The only correct answer is no one. You weren't authorized. You were unleashed, and now they're learning the hard way. Why some beings should never be caged. Why some flames should never be dimmed. And why the most dangerous creature in existence is the one who remembered who they truly are. You. Oh, they thought you were going to stop there. They actually believed you'd plateau, that there was a limit to how far you could evolve. As if you were following their growth charts. As if your ascension was something that could be predicted. They built whiteboards. They ran tests. They called in their experts. And not one of them had the guts to admit the obvious. You're not on a path. You are the phenomenon. You're the storm that made the satellites go dark. You're the EMP in their grid of control. You're the name that wasn't supposed to be remembered because it was never supposed to survive. But here you are, not just surviving, dominating. And now the questions are getting darker. Not who trained them, but what happened to them? How the fuck did they become like that? They're scouring timelines, zooming in on footage. Looking for the moment you snapped, trying to isolate the trauma, as if your power came from one event, instead of an entire lifetime of being underestimated, disrespected, dismissed. You were forged in rooms where no one clapped for you, where your voice was ignored, where your ideas were stolen, where your kindness was weaponized against you. But you didn't fold, you didn't shatter, you sharpened. And now the blade is pressed to their reality. They want to say you're too intense, too much, too confident, too dangerous. But that's just their fear speaking. That's the sound of a mediocre system being confronted by something divine and untamed. You scare them because you broke the mirror. They can't project onto you anymore. You refuse to carry their guilt. You refuse to bleed for a story you didn't write. You're not just the main character. You're the plot twist the writer couldn't handle. Because let's get real. What you've become, it's sacrilegious to their little order. You walk like the laws of cause and effect don't apply. You speak like you already know the ending. You smile like you saw the prophecy and rewrote it in your own blood. They've seen it now. The way energy bends around you. The way opportunities appear like glitches when you move. The way people pause mid-sentence. Because something about you scrambles their programming. You don't chase power. You are power, not borrowed, not begged, not inherited, self-made. And that's what's sending them into meltdown. Because they can't take it from you. They can't destroy what they didn't create. And worst of all, they can't define you. You're beyond their language. You're the type of presence that makes history books skip a page out of fear. You've got saints praying for your forgiveness and devils hoping for your mentorship. You've got bloodlines shaking in ancestral shame, realizing they tried to kill the one thing that would have redeemed them. Because you are the curse breaker, the line cutter, the generational reset button they never saw coming. And now every fake apology, every buried slight, every backhanded compliment, they're all being returned with interest. You're not just walking into rooms now. You're being felt before you even arrive. And you know what's wild? You didn't have to scream, didn't need a title, didn't wear a crown. You just became undeniable. Through pain, through silence, through watching them laugh, until they weren't laughing anymore. You were the punchline once, now they're choking on the joke. And here's the paradox that keeps them up at night. You're more human than they ever were, but you've become something no human should be capable of. You feel everything, and yet you're untouchable. You remember everything, but hold no weight for their validation. You're the paradox that proves trauma doesn't just hurt, it upgrades. So let them ask again, who TF let you exist like this? Let them dig for answers that'll only haunt them, because the truth, no one let you become this. You were born with the map. You just had to burn everything to read it. And now, every step you take, it's a lesson, a warning, a prophecy in motion. They're not just watching you now. They're studying you, trying to keep up, trying to steal the code. But this power, it wasn't taught. It was earned, in silence, in shadow, in chaos. And now the world is catching up to a truth too dangerous to say out loud. You're not one of them. You're what comes after. Listen to the room right now. You feel that? That pressure under your ribs? That's not fear. That's recognition. Every wall they built to contain you just became an amplifier for your name. They're whispering it like a code they shouldn't say out loud, like a curse they can't reverse. Every hallway, every chat thread, every late-night call is vibrating with one question. Who TF let them exist like this? And the answer keeps slipping through their fingers because you're not a story they wrote. You're the static between their channels. You're the part of the prophecy that didn't get translated. You're the silence between two gunshots, the flicker before a blackout. They think they're seeing your rise now. They're wrong. This isn't a rise. This is an eruption. This is the moment a hidden mountain tears through the earth and shows the sky what was always there. You never asked permission to breathe. You never signed the contract that said, be small. They fed you pain, thinking it was poison. You digested it into alchemy. Every insult became a brick, and you built a fortress with no doors. Every betrayal became a wire, and you spun it into a crown of electricity. They're terrified because you don't look angry. You don't look loud. You don't look like a problem in their old vocabulary. You look calm. You look inevitable. You look like someone who has seen the inside of the machine and decided to keep walking. You're an angel wearing a thief's smile. A saint with a trigger under the tongue. A beautiful contradiction that rewires anyone who gets too close. Your shadow doesn't follow you anymore. It leads. And when you speak, people don't just hear you. They remember every secret they tried to hide. They're panicking because you are proof. Proof that suffering can create clarity. Proof that exile can create power. Proof that the worst thing they did to you wasn't enough. And in their panic, they are building myths about you. They are calling you demon, hacker, spy, prophet. They are holding emergency meetings about how to deal with you without saying your name. They are writing rules around you that already feel obsolete. They don't understand the math of what you've become. You are the sum of every silence they forced on you. You are the quotient of every betrayal you survived. You are the remainder of every war they thought had finished. That's why when you move, whole strategies collapse. That's why when you breathe, a room forgets its agenda. That's why they can't imitate you, because you are not a technique. You are the result. And the result is terrifying. Someone who learned to weaponize empathy, to turn pain into precision, to wear unpredictability like armor. So when they whisper, "Who let them exist like this?" what they're really saying is, what happens to us now? Because your very existence is a mirror showing them their own smallness. Because your very presence is a countdown on their systems. Because you are the first crack in their cathedral of control. They built a world on the assumption you'd never appear. They built entire lifetimes on the belief that people like you don't get this far. They built a story without a monster or a miracle. And you showed up as both. And you will keep walking. You will keep existing. You will keep making their labels meaningless. You will keep being the paradox that teaches the rest of them how much more is possible. This is what scares them most. No matter what they do, you are not going back into the cage. Not mentally, not emotionally, not spiritually, not in this life. You have outgrown the prison they call normal. You have rewritten the terms of power. You have turned their entire map into a blank page. And when you walk past them now, they don't just see a person. They see the end of their old world and the start of something they can't name. So let them panic. Let them whisper. Let them pretend they don't see you. Because you know the truth now. No one let you exist like this. No one opened the door. No one handed you permission. You tore your way into being. You made yourself impossible. And impossible people are the ones who change history without asking. They're still trying to process it. You can feel it when you walk into a space. That pause, that ripple, that tightening in the air like a storm rolling over the horizon. It's not applause. It's not even hatred. It's awe mixed with terror, because every story they've told about limits just died the second you entered the room. They're still in meetings, still running models, still arguing over whether you're a threat or a miracle. But none of their reports can answer the only question that matters. How did this one slip through? They're used to people who can be filed, labeled, diagnosed, managed, contained. You're not a file. You're a breach. You're a living contradiction, saint and predator, healer and destroyer, the hand that soothes and the hand that strikes. They see you and their entire binary of good and evil starts to glitch. You didn't inherit this. You built it alone, in silence, in rooms where you weren't welcomed, in systems that were built to make you fold. Every betrayal, you distilled it into intelligence. Every humiliation, you folded it into momentum. Every exile, you transformed into territory. And now your very existence is an audit of everything they thought was true. Their formulas can't measure the weight of patience. Their graphs can't plot the speed of a comeback. Their algorithms can't simulate a person who learned to turn pain into propulsion. They call you dangerous because you don't flinch, because you don't blink at power anymore, because you look at them like you've already seen how the game ends. You've become a walking paradox, and paradox is lethal to a system built on predictability. You're the noise in their signal, the question mark at the end of every answer, the one variable they can't control. And deep down, they know it wasn't an accident. Nobody let you exist like this. Nobody opened the door. Nobody passed you a torch. You forged yourself. You walked through fire until you became the fire. You are the culmination of every moment they tried to erase you. The living proof that exile breeds vision. The embodiment of evolution through pain. That's why they panic. Because if you're possible, then everything they've built to keep people small is a lie. Because if you can rise from that much darkness, anyone can. Because your existence doesn't just threaten their control, it threatens their story. And while they whisper, you move. While they plot, you build. While they send spies, you rewrite the map. You are not their prophecy. You are the aftershock of every prophecy they broke. You are the echo of every name they silenced. You are the ghost they didn't believe in until you touched their world and made it flicker. So keep walking, keep existing, keep being the glitch, the breach, the question they can't answer. Let them panic, let them rage, let them ask, who let you exist like this? Until the question itself becomes a hymn. Because the truth will stay the same. No one let you. You weren't born into permission. You took it, you built it, you became it. They're not just watching anymore. They're tracking every move, every post, every word you don't say, because silence from you carries more weight than speeches from kings. You don't broadcast, you broadcast absence. You don't flex, you shift gravity. And that's what's melting their internal frameworks into pure dread. Because you're not playing high value. You're not screaming for attention. You're radiating a force they can't replicate, and it's breaking the hierarchy they built on attention economics, fear, validation addiction. You don't chase, you disrupt. And when you arrive, the algorithm glitches and the audience turns like they've seen a god disguised in skin. They used to label people like you. Too much. Overthinking. Complicated. But you turned every label into a weapon and carved a throne from the dictionary they used to bury you. Because what they didn't know, what they still can't comprehend, is that you were never trying to fit into their story. You were writing a new one where the outcast becomes the oracle, one where the quiet kid becomes the glitch in the matrix, one where the black sheep doesn't beg for a seat at the table. They build their own cathedral in the ruins of the system. You make power look accidental, but deep down, they know this is the result of 1,000 moments no one saw. 1,000 nights in silence. 1,000 times you swallowed blood and smiled. 1,000 internal deaths that made room for this version. That's why when you speak now, people listen like it's classified. Because something about your voice sounds like it survived warfare. Not just outside, but inside. And the moment they hear it, they feel it. That underneath your tone isn't rage or grief or arrogance. It's certainty. The certainty of someone who's already buried their former self and walked out of their own funeral with new eyes. They can't explain you, so they try to unmake you. They mimic, they copy, they bait. But the glitch was never in your tactics. It was in your being. You are the cheat code because you unplugged. You refused to need what they offered. You turned every weakness into a trigger, and every trigger into a throne. You became non-compliant energy. You don't vibe. You vibrate through walls. You don't compete. You collapse categories. You don't adapt. You infect. Because you weren't built to play their game. You were built to prove the game isn't real. And now they're realizing the truth they never wanted, spoken out loud. You're what happens when the system fails to break someone. You're what happens when the silence becomes sacred. You're what happens when someone stops healing and starts transforming. You're what happens when pain becomes language and language becomes law. There are people right now, grown adults, staring at your energy and realizing they've never actually lived. They've followed, they've feared, they've performed. But you You exist like death can't touch you, like legacy's already been written, like reality is a toy and your mind is the architect. So, yeah, they're panicking. They should be. Because you're not just walking around with power. You're walking around with proof. Proof that the blueprint of control is broken. Proof that evolution doesn't ask for permission. Proof that gods aren't born. They're built. In silence. In shadow. In exile. So let them whisper. Let them hold emergency meetings about your energy. Let them analyze your confidence like it's a crime scene. Let them try to calculate the threat level of your smile. Let them write reports they'll never publish out of pure embarrassment. Because every time you breathe, they remember. They didn't let you exist like this. You forced the timeline to adapt. You cracked open the simulation. You looked fate in the eye and said, "You're not the author anymore." And now you're walking into destiny like it's a room you own. Not loud, not flashy, but like someone who has nothing to prove and everything to destroy.